What is the difference between home insurance and rental home insurance?
On a rental home, unless it's an Airbnb, typically you're not having your own personal property inside the house. You're hiring renters based on background checks or whatever it is you're doing to get those renters in your house. So the liability is going to look a lot different versus you occupying the home yourself. We'll go in and it'll say, do you have an auto policy managed by your agency? And you click yes, and it gives them a discount. A lot of carriers put it on an actual cash value or a depreciated value. And a lot of consumers don't even notice that happened. Their auto insurance, sometimes they're not out until 30 days, but definitely the home insurance, 45 days is a good time to start because you should have your renewal by then.
Between 2018 to 2023, guess what? How much home insurance premium increased? You wouldn't believe it. It's 60%. This is crazy. And on today's podcast, we're going to talk about all related to home insurance, why the insurance was crazy high, and how you can save money on your next home insurance. Let's go ahead and get started. Hi, Bonnie. Welcome to our podcast.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming. Can you tell me a little bit about yourself and what's your background?
Sure. I was a top insurance agent for AAA for 13 years. And then I decided it was time to go out on my own. So about 3 years ago, I bought a Goosehead brokerage, and I've been doing that on my own now.
For 3 years. And then do you primarily do insurances in Texas?
Only in Texas.
Only in Texas. Now, there's agents that may do other places also, right?
I could, but I have so much business in Texas, which is a blessing, that I don't see the need to go outside of Texas.
Perfect. Yeah. You know, I was just telling my clients that home insurances have gotten quite high, especially in Texas.
Yeah.
60%.
It's unprecedented. I've never seen rates this high, and I've been in this industry my whole adult life. So to see the rates go up the way they have, and I want to say that I saw it trending with the housing market when we had the whole COVID thing. And I believe that our country got in such debt, and as well with like all the losses that we've incurred as far as all the floodings we've had and all the hailstorms. And unfortunately, when that happens, and insurance companies, they have to get that money back somehow, right? So they're just increasing rates everywhere, and it's almost unsustainable. I think
it's totally
for the consumer.
Unsustainable. Yeah, I feel you would think that Austin was a place where you can afford and live a lifestyle.
Yeah, no, that's not the case anymore. I feel like a lot of people also moved into Texas from different areas, and you probably can gather which areas from states people have moved from. I don't want to call anybody out, but when they sell their houses for millions of dollars because the housing market is so different in a different state, and then they come here and buy land or houses for pennies on the dollar from what they sold it for, of course our rates, our interest rates, our home rates, the cost of housing, all of it's going to go up. And that's what's happened.
Is there something that you can do? I mean, I guess you have to renew your insurance if you have a mortgage.
Yeah, you should always renew your insurance, period.
Even though
unless you have enough money to self-insure. then by all means. But even then, let's say that you're, a billionaire and you're self-insured. Well, we won't say billionaire because there's not a lot of them, but a millionaire and you're self-insured. If you're liable for something, they can come after you and all of your assets. So in my opinion, insurance is something unfortunate that we have to carry and that we have to pay for, but it really does save you in the end.
Gosh.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I've got a bunch of questions here from my clients that have asked me to say a little bit more clarification on it. So we're just going to go ahead and get started. I know you kind of went a little bit in on what has caused such an increase in the home insurance, especially in Texas. Can you repeat those items again?
Yeah, sure. I feel like when the economy took a hit, insurance companies also took a hit. I feel like with all of the wildfires, with all of the flooding, with all of the claims, just because we're in Texas doesn't mean that insurance companies don't write in all of these other places too. So if their book of business is getting hit hard with all of these claims, rates are going to go up. Whether you're a perfect driver or not, it doesn't matter. It's still going to affect you in some way.
Gosh. So it's all the things that are happening in Texas is driving it up.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, think about this too. And not just specifically home insurance, but even with auto insurance, think about how many people we have that are driving without insurance.
Yeah.
How many people we've had come into the country that just don't have anything. And so the loss ratios are, crazy right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That being said, I've renewed several of my home insurances. Every year, it's like, even this year, I got a quote for the primary home, let's say 4,000, and the renewal, he was bidding me for like, oh, 5, and then one was 9,000.
Mm-hmm.
What? Such a big difference.
It's so crazy. So some carriers have different niche markets, right? So everybody's going to have their target market. So let's just hypothetically say, well, I don't want to say specific insurance carrier, so we'll do A and B.
Yeah.
So insurance A company, their target market might be teenagers and kids that are living in apartments. Insurance B might target families with multiple cars and teen drivers. So everybody's going to have a different niche market. So it's going to look different everywhere. So someone will say, well, how did you get me a $4,000 rate here? But with, B company, it was $9,000. It really just depends on that carrier's appetite.
I see.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
And a lot of people don't also know that credit has a huge factor in insurance rates.
Even home insurance?
Absolutely.
So they also check the credit score while you're doing your home insurance?
It's not a FICO score.
Okay.
But it is a consumer insurance score, and it is heavily weighted on your credit score. So it's really unfortunate for people who are new drivers or kids coming up or people who've had a rough time, who've maybe had to file bankruptcy or whatever the case might be, or go through a nasty divorce. If your credit's taking a hit, your insurance rates are going up.
So do you guys not let the consumers know when they're doing home insurance?
Oh, I tell all my clients we're
Okay.
going to run a consumer insurance score because it's not a credit hit.
Uh-huh.
It's not going to show up on your credit.
I've never got that. Nobody has said that
No,
to
but
me.
I think that humbly saying, I think that's one of the reasons I do as well as I do is because I'm very transparent with my clients. And that's the only way you can be is transparent. Somebody will say, oh, I drive the same exact Toyota that my neighbor drives and we have the exact same model home. Why is my insurance more expensive? It's rate. I mean, it's age. It's zip code. It's credit. It's how many drivers, how many accidents you have, all the things. And so you can't, it's not a cookie cutter at all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay. So another thing is, what if you have more than one property, right? And if you have a claim in one, does that affect the price of the insurance for all the other homes, and for how long?
It depends on what kind of claim it is. So if you have like a liability claim, let's say that you're insuring your ring and you go to Mexico and you lose it, that's going to follow you with no matter what property you have. If you have a fire at one house, that's not going to affect the rate of the other house.
Okay.
And it also could depend on the carrier. So I don't want you to necessarily quote me on that, even though you're going to. But typically it's liability claims that follow the client. Now, if you have a claim here, knock on wood, and you've got a couple, and then you go buy another primary home, that claim's going to follow you.
And for how long does that?
Well, no, I'm sorry. I take that back. That claim is not going to follow you. If you have a theft claim or a liability claim, that claim will follow you. And it can be anywhere from 3 to 5 years, depending on the carrier.
I see.
Mm-hmm.
So at least it will be in the systems for...
Oh, yeah. And like, let's say a storm blows through here and you have to get a new roof. And we replace your roof. And then, heaven forbid, a pipe were to crack in a wall and you have water damage and you claim that too. And you've got 2 claims within, a certain period, a lot of carriers won't even touch it.
I see. So I've also got from agents saying that, hey, don't put a claim on it until you know for sure, right?
Absolutely.
Why is that?
Because anytime you call your carrier, whether it be a home claim or an automobile claim, as soon as you talk to a claim rep, they're going to open up a claim for you. And it doesn't matter if it's $0 paid out or $50,000 paid out. That's a claim regardless, and it's going to mess with your eligibility as well as your rates. So I always say the same thing. Like, if you think that Rima, you call me and you're like, Bonnie, I just had a huge hailstorm and I have my guy, Tim. He's amazing. Come out and look at your roof. I would rather you do that and let's check it out and see how much damage there is before we even get insurance involved.
Yeah.
For
once
that
you
reason.
open it stays in there. It doesn't matter if...
No matter what.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Okay. What is the difference between home insurance and rental home insurance? Is there much difference?
When you own the rental house, you mean? There's quite a bit of a difference. So on a rental home, unless it's an Airbnb, typically you're not having your own personal property inside the house. So you're really not responsible for that. And the liability is different, right? So you're hiring renters based on background checks or whatever it is you're doing to get those renters in your house. So the liability is going to look a lot different versus you occupying the home yourself. So
Yeah.
they are two completely different policies.
And then is there much difference on the price points on one or the other, you think?
From what I've seen recently, not so much. No, actually, what really affects home insurance is the age of the house, how many claims you've had, your credit score, and what area you're in. So like if we took your house and picked it up and put it in Houston, your rate would be probably $5,000 more than it is here because it's in Houston,
Okay.
right? So Houston's known to have more hurricanes, more tropical storms, flooding. So it just depends on, I mean, there's so many factors.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I have one investor, for instance, that buys houses all the time and I insure all of his properties, but he's really gotten away from the Houston area because the insurance, the rates are just so different. They're so much higher.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
And how does insurance work with we talked about the short-term rental. It's the same thing you're saying. Airbnb, short-term, that leading to renters insurance, right? I guess I'm sure you all provide the same thing for the renters to get their home rental insurance, right?
Right.
What do you suggest that to be like?
If I own a home and I have renters in it, I'm going to always require that they carry insurance because for several reasons, liability. So let's say something happens while they're renting the house and they're liable. That takes the liability off of you and completely puts it onto the renter. So instead of going into your insurance pocket to pay out claims, we're going to go into that renter's insurance pocket to pay out claims. If they accidentally started a fire and it got to the neighbor's house and they're liable for that, instead of it coming out of your insurance pocket, it's going to come out of their insurance pocket. So I always highly recommend that if you have renters, that you require them to have renters insurance.
And do you have a certain amount you think that it should be there?
I think minimum liability, people, a lot of companies require 100,000. I don't think that's enough. And the difference between having 100,000 in liability to 300,000 in liability is dollars, like $10 for the year, maybe $20 for the year difference to have that much coverage. So depending on the size of the house in the neighborhood, it's really just up to you. It's a personal decision, but I wouldn't go lower than 300,000 in liability.
I see. Okay, perfect. And going back to the primary insurance.
And I'm sorry, real quick. That's not just to protect the homeowner. It's to protect the insured too. To protect their assets. So I'm not just doing this as a selfish reason for the homeowner. It's really good for them to have it.
It's good for the tenants themselves to have them protect for their
assets also.
Their assets. Yes. Thank you for saying.
You're welcome. Yes, you're welcome.
Now, does the home insurance cover any foundation issues?
Yes. Well, it depends if you're adding it. So like with, let's say AAA, they have a HOD and an HOB policy. Their HOD doesn't include foundation. It's not something, well, at least it didn't when I was there, and it was not something you could add on with an endorsement. Their HOB policy came with unlimited coverage up to the dwelling amount for the pipes within the foundation. All of the other carriers, there's some that don't offer it at all, but everyone else you add it on as an endorsement. And I would always highly recommend, like, yes, we live in Texas, but it does happen. And if you've got water coming through your floor, no, it's going to be really expensive. So just get the coverage.
So when they get a quote, it's not in there for
it depends on the agent.
Okay.
Yeah, I always include it. And if I have a carrier that I'm riding with that does not carry it, then I always let them know, hey, you can go with this carrier that's $400 less for the year, but let me tell you the differences in these coverages. This one doesn't have pipes in the foundation. This one doesn't come with water backup or sump overflow. So things like that. You really just need to make sure you're asking all the right questions, because you can't trust your agent to do that. You hope that they will, but you really need to know the right questions to ask.
So how would this person know what questions to ask, right?
Right. I mean, again, you pray that you've got an educated agent that's not just trying to sell you something, but always ask, hey, what kind of water damage does this come with? Does this home have mold coverage if something were to happen? What if you just need to know different scenarios? What if a pipe were to crack in my foundation? And hopefully, again, you have an agent that's going to go over all these things. But as a consumer, we don't expect everyone to know everything, but it would be good for you to have these questions on your list and know that these are very important things to be covered for, if that makes sense.
No, it does.
Yeah.
And you're saying agent, meaning representing from an insurance company.
Correct. Like there's also something called, gosh, I'll have to look it up. I haven't used it in a long time. It was a tool I used to use, and you can get online. I'll have to look it up and give it to you. And you can take any homeowners carrier and you can pick which product they're giving you, and it'll give you a side-by-side comparison of what's covered in this versus what's covered in this. So it's a really good tool for consumers to use to say, well, I'm really getting a lot more coverage with this company than I am with this company.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It's OPI, Office of Public Insurance Counsel, OPIC.
Okay. So you just go on there and then compare the both.
And if you have a good insurance agent, they'll do it for you.
Okay, make sure you have a good insurance agent.
Yes, it's very important. It's very important.
Okay, so in Texas, what are the most common insurance claims you have seen?
Hail.
I know.
All the time.
I know.
So much hail.
Yeah.
I would say hail is the biggest one.
Hail, yeah.
Yeah, 100% hail and wind.
And wind.
Yeah.
I know.
I mean, we're replacing roofs all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We just had a very bad wind a few days ago.
Yeah, it was crazy.
That was crazy. Okay, so how can homeowners lower their insurance premiums without sacrificing the coverage? Is there any way?
Good credit. Work on your credit. I would just say get a broker that will shop you and that will do all of it for you. Instead of you spending hours doing the research, give somebody your information and let them do it for you. Somebody that you trust that has really good carriers. So I would always work with a carrier that works with a person that works with A-rated carriers. And that's the best way because you don't want to cut your coverages. If you have a ton of money and you can have, a 5% deductible on your home, then great, do that. But then what's the point of even making a claim if you've got a deductible that high? So I would never say get less coverage. You need to get what's right for your family and makes sense for you to protect your assets. Yeah.
Another thing is I know we do a lot of new construction here, right? So new construction is obviously, you said, cheaper when you're starting. Yeah. When does it, what year is it that it gets really expensive?
Year 10.
Year 10?
Yeah. Year 10, you're no longer getting a new home discount. That's when things start to go up. And they might start to increase just because the market's increasing. Yeah. But yeah, as far as the age is concerned, it's typically 10 years.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It's crazy when you say new construction and you're getting that quote. It's such a huge difference.
It's a huge difference. Like I just bought a house and my insurance rate was under 1,000, but I know next year it's probably going to be over 1,000 and it's going to continue to grow. And at year 10, who knows what it's going to be by that point.
Oh my gosh. Crazy.
Yeah.
Now, do you know if there are any discounts available for Texas homeowners, such as if they bundle the policy or installing a security system, stuff like that?
Yes. If you bundle, there's always typically a good bundle discount.
Bundle meaning what?
So some carriers will say, if you have auto and home with us, some carriers don't write auto. So we'll go in and it'll say, do you have an auto policy managed by your agency? And you click yes, and it gives them a discount.
Would bundle with more than one property? Is that not?
Yes, that's a great discount. So I have with the one investor, I have all of his properties through one carrier, and each home we add, it discounts the other one just a little bit more. And you're getting bundle discounts. So yeah, I would say definitely bundling is a good way to get discounts.
Okay.
If you have multiple properties.
Okay.
You shouldn't have them all over the place unless you just have to. Right. So if you have some in Houston and that carrier doesn't write in Houston, then you're going to have to get creative and find other ones. But
okay.
Yeah.
And then what are the things that will help them, right? Like you said, security system. Was there anything else?
So security system will be a small discount. Yeah. I wouldn't say go get a security discount or system so you can get a discount on insurance because the security system is going to cost more. It's more for peace of mind. But if you already have one, great. Let's include it. It'll give you a discount. Anytime you've done repairs to your house on your own, if you've replaced your roof, it's going to give you a discount. Your insurance rate is typically going to be lower unless at that point you had a higher deductible and now we're going to lower it back down because you have a new roof and you're eligible for that. Sometimes it kind of evens itself out, but any kind of improvements to plumbing or heating, especially on older homes, it'll help as far as the insurance rate goes.
Okay. Yeah, because I always get questions asked by an agent. Do you have this? Do you have this?
Oh,
You know,
retired discounts,
retired.
military
Yeah.
discounts. It just depends on the carrier. There's a lot of teacher discounts.
Teacher healthcare? No, or not?
Haven't seen any like
Teacher.
doctor discounts. They probably think they're doing all right, so they're not going to give them any. I don't know, but no, I've never seen.
No, probably
No,
not.
not any of my carriers. And I'm saying that it's not out there, but not with anybody that I write with.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. So military and teachers so
Mhm.
far that you know of. And then what happens to a home insurance when a homeowner sells a property?
They just completely release all liability,
Okay.
right? So it's no longer their issue. It's the new homeowner's issue.
Just gets transferred.
Well, it's when transfer, you get a whole new policy.
You get a whole new policy.
All of their things are going to dictate what their rate looks like and who they go with.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. How can Texas homeowners ensure they're fully covered in case of a disaster? And I know you've said that before.
Yeah. So, I mean, I would just make sure that you have replacement costs on everything. Once your roof is 15 years old, a lot of carriers put it on an actual cash value or a depreciated value. And a lot of consumers don't even notice that happens, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they've had the same carrier for 15 years and they're just getting their renewal and they're paying it and they're not looking at it. And now all of a sudden their roof is at an actual cash value. So you really need to be paying attention to those things if your house is getting older. And then again, just making sure that you've got as much coverage. So if a pipe does crack, I mean, that's minimum 20 grand to dig through a foundation and repair pipes and then repair the flooring.
Yeah.
So really just make sure you're educated and you talk to your agent and you ask the right questions as much as it's the agent's responsibility.
Yes.
Again, you just don't know.
You just don't know.
Yeah.
I know. It's
Which
hard.
is
How can
unfortunate.
you know, right? Because
Yeah.
it's not something that you do as an
You're not
expert.
educated on it,
No.
right? Yeah, that'd be like me going to the doctor and him expecting me
Exactly.
to know everything,
Yeah.
which why would I? That's not
No.
my expertise.
No.
Yeah.
No. Is it best to start a claim? Well, we talked about that. Don't start a claim.
Don't. Unless you have to. If
Unless
your
you
house
have
is on fire, I mean, let's give it a break. But I mean, if it's something that can wait, then I would definitely talk to your agent, get advice, and see what they recommend and where to go from there. Don't ever call your insurance company first unless you have to, meaning the carrier.
The carrier.
Don't call the carrier directly unless you have to. Always talk to your agent first.
It's just a good point because I don't know if a lot of people know about like calling the agent first.
Like, and even with like glass claims, people think, oh, I went to get my car washed at ABC Car Wash and I had a chip in my window and they're like, oh, let me do it for free. I'm going to call your insurance company. Just because you have glass coverage doesn't mean that they're not going to charge you for it next year.
No.
They're going to.
Yep.
Nothing's free.
Nothing's free.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah, no. Okay, so rapid fire, we're going to end it.
Okay.
Do you think that, do you have anything else that you want to add on to the podcast?
I just think make sure that you're talking to the right people that you trust and don't just sign something without looking it over. We get so used to just scrolling through our phones and clicking agree.
Yeah.
You don't even know what you're agreeing to.
Yeah.
So just make sure you're asking the right questions and, what is your house worth to you? Make sure that you're covering it properly.
And how soon can they start getting the quotes? Let's say your renewal is about a month or 2 months away. When do you advise for shopping?
I would
for
say
the rate?
45 to 60 days.
45 to 60 days beforehand. Okay.
Yeah, that's where the sweet spot is. Or auto insurance, sometimes they're not out until 30 days, but definitely the home insurance, 45 days is a good time to start because you should have your renewal by then.
Yeah.
And if not, see why they're dragging their feet and say, hey, I need my renewal so I can compare rates. But I used to say, like, stick with, when I was with AAA, stick with me. And I had clients that were with me for years and were loyal. But now that we have so many carriers and there's so many good carriers out there, shop it and make sure you're getting the best bang for your buck for sure.
Is there a place where they can, the agent will shop it for them, but is there something that they can do on their own?
Yeah, if they want to do their own research or call like the captive, State Farm's captive, Texas Farm Bureau's captive, AAA's captive. So you can only expect your insurance broker to have so many carriers, which hopefully they're all A-rated. But if you want to see more than that, then go to the farmers directly, go to the State Farm directly and do your research too and do your due diligence also. Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you. Okay, let's go ahead and get started with the rapid fire short answers.
Okay.
True or false? Home insurance covers everything in the house.
False.
Okay. What's the one thing homeowners forget to insure but should?
Jewelry.
That's true. If you could add a coverage to every home insurance policy, what would it be?
Pipes in the foundation, 100%.
Very true.
Yes.
What's one red flag in a home that makes insurance rates skyrocket?
Mold.
Mold.
I don't know. You can't even
Yeah.
sure that. That makes it skyrocket.
I
Honestly,
know.
it's the age of the dwelling.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. Hailstorm versus flooding. Which one causes more damage in Texas?
I would say hailstorms.
Yep. What's the quickest way to lower the home insurance premium?
Shop it.
Shop it. What's a surprising factor that can increase in home insurance rate?
It's credit.
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 Okay. Well, there we have it.
Yeah.
Thank you
Thank
for
you.
coming out and sharing some tips on home insurance
Yeah.
and how you can lower it.
Happy
I did not know
happy to
about
help.
credit, but
Happy to help. And if anybody needs insurance, they can look me up and I'll be happy to help.
yes,
Text
we'll put
us.
your information, on the below so then people can reach out to you. But thank you.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for having me. I
Yes.
love your home. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Okay.